a little while since we talked about Ian Danskin, but we actually have something we can talk about now. We found a leaked update from his Patreon subscriber-only news that he does once a month, and it's pretty interesting, so I wanted to talk about it because what's happening? Honestly, I don't know how he put this together because it's pretty bad, gamers. So, to open, if you don't remember, Ian Danskin's the owner of the YouTube channel Innuendo Studios. He made a video claiming that being a YouTuber bankrupted him, when in reality it was just his complete lack of ability to manage money and his disinterest in paying his taxes. As a result, he was $80,000 in debt. He put up a GoFundMe. They made double the goal plus some, and he now has $155,000 sitting in a savings account. That happened months ago, and as of this update, he hasn't paid the money back to the debt holders or to the IRS, and he was planning on going to Japan instead of doing what he needed to do to take care of himself and his family because, by the way, Ian has kids. He has a family. It's not just Ian, but somehow he decided it would be better to go to Japan than be an adult. So let's take a look at our June update because, as you can hear, I'm sure I've got feelings about it. So he says, "Hey team, here's your monthly digest of what's going on in Danskin land." An opening joke that definitely doesn't sound like a pervert's amusement park. I continue to be on sabbatical, but I'm a write in my updates here. First, regarding debts. The IRS is making it exceptionally difficult to actually give them the money I owe. The IRS is making it hard to give them money you owe them. You're gonna have to forgive me, but I'm not convinced that's the case. What with paperwork still not being in the system months after I send it, third-party payment services that can't verify my identity, and a now mandatory authenticator app to log into my account that has never once worked for me. Okay, so you don't have to use a third party to pay your taxes. You can do it directly, whether that's as a business owner or as an individual. They make it very easy for you to pay your taxes because there's only two things that are a constant truth in this world: death and taxes. The IRS is gonna get their money. I think that's a load of bullshit. I'm not loving all the excuses. At the very least, could we get some screenshots of what you're talking about so people didn't just get $155,000 ripped out of their pockets? So then he goes on to say that he did talk to a CPA, which was a huge concern for many of us because Ian had talked to somebody on his Patreon who commented and said, you should really get a CPA or an accountant to look at that $155K. And he decided to link to this local news station in Kentucky that made an article that said, yeah, it may or may not be taxable if it's a gift from a GoFundMe, but because this is for his business and not him as an individual, that may or may not could fluctuate very easily, which is why he should talk to someone. And Ian's response to this guy was, where are you seeing that that's the case? Because in all of my extensive research, I haven't seen that. So if you've got something that I don't, show me. Just this really weird, arrogant response that didn't sit well with most people criticizing him, go figure. Apparently, he has finally talked to a CPA, thank Christ. Someone got through to him and he's actually talking to a professional. So he says that he talked to the CPA and they have an idea for overcoming one of those hurdles. So hopefully that'll soon be square, or more square at least. Rhomboidal, perhaps, because he's a really funny guy. The credit debt apparently needs to get moved to a new collections agency since I moved out of Massachusetts, so I'm waiting for those new debt holders to contact me. Or, and this is just an idea, this is just a thought, you could identify who's holding the debt now, because somebody has it, and you could contact them first, because you should probably let them know you would like to pay off your debts and you now have the money to be able to do that. For some reason, he doesn't take the proactive stance on this and wants to wait for shit to happen to him. I need him to stop doing that. I'm assuming because he's gotten this far in life by just sitting back and not doing anything, that's probably why he's continuing this behavior by not reaching out to the people he owes tens of thousands of dollars to. But that's really not a good look when you're trying to be a fucking adult in his 40s, just by the way. Meantime, the money just sits in a savings account accruing what interest I can get for it, which, good for you, you're making money off of money that was given to you by sweet people and you're just profiting off of that rather than making shit square. In the meantime, the amount is gonna go up, at the very least with the debt holders, my guy. There are fees, there is interest, there's a lot of shit that goes on here, and you just sitting back and letting this get worse because you can't figure out what the problem is, it's not gonna work out the way that you think it might. am flummoxed by the behaviors of this 40-year-old man. He does talk about some stuff that I don't particularly care about. He mentions a friend of his. He went on a live stream to fundraise for a queer friend of theirs in Lebanon who can't afford their meds because the U.S. cut aid to the country, so that sucks. I wonder if there's somebody out there who has $75,000 of surplus cash that could maybe donate to the cause and get the friends square, or maybe get them out of that country and send them to the UK or Canada or somewhere else where that medication would be easily accessible and less scary. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud. But it's okay because he linked the fundraiser, so he did his due diligence on that. He does talk about going on these podcasts. He talks about going to a convention thing in London, so he is traveling and doing great for himself and his business while he's on his sabbatical, ? But the one that I'm most interested in is his Japan trip, which we find out tragically has been postponed because his friend in Japan remembered that September is typhoon season. So that sucks, but also, you're really gonna sit here and tell me that your friend didn't consider the fact that typhoon season, which runs from May to October in Japan, they just forgot that that would be in the middle of all of that shit going down? It just sounds like another stupid excuse. Like, he knows that he was catching heat for all the shit for all the people that were saying it's a really fucking stupid idea for you to go to Japan when you're not paying off your fucking debts. And the best excuse he could come up with was his friend forgore that it was fucking monsoon season. I don't know. Like, can you see how just weirdly slimy and like non-committal everything he says is? I can't really explain it, but it's that Brazilian saying, you know, I just don't go with his face. Something's off about this whole thing, and it annoys me that he's still carrying on the way that he is. And then, last but not least, he tells us, despite the sabbatical, I'm dipping my toe in a number of projects. And since I said I was going to be transparent this year, I'm going to tell you about them. Be aware, this is a period of experimentation, so any number of these might fail to come together, and that is 100% fine with me. So it'll have to be at least 80% fine with you. They also might not go public, might not look like their pitch, or they might suck. Alright, well then just don't tell us about them. Like, just say you don't want to tell us about them and go about your day. Because something tells me half of this shit he's thinking he's gonna do, it's not gonna hit the light of day. I don't even think he's gonna do it. Because he's sitting on unreleased scripts for the alt-right playbook still. This project that has been a thing going on for years, and then he stopped producing it because he got bored of it, and he hasn't dropped those scripts yet. Like, dude, you just got paid $75,000 for free. You should be putting out a video every single fucking day for these people that supported you. I know that he carved that out for himself, that little loophole that was, I still may not want to be a YouTuber, but I don't know, if it were me and I had a community of people raise 75 fucking grand more than what I needed, I would be making videos until I died. I would go full quarter pounder and make 5 videos a day and live stream for 2 hours. It would be absolute dog shit, but I have got to do something to pay back these people that were kind enough to give me their hard-earned fucking money. Instead, Ian just takes the handout and says, okay, thank you, I'm gonna fuck off to Japan. And then once he rightfully gets criticized for it, he's gonna make up a stupid excuse as to why he's no longer going to Japan. And not because it's a really bad fucking look from a PR perspective. So Ian is still up to his old tricks. It has been months since the fundraiser was completed, and he still has not paid his fucking taxes. He hasn't paid his debt holders. He is still $80,000 in debt. He's sitting on his money, and I just can't see this ending any way but poorly for him the longer this shit drags out. Pay your fucking taxes, you bum. Don't go to Japan until you get your shit squared. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I'm sorry on the slowdown. I'm gonna try and be a little bit more proactive, but I have just been exhausted these last few days. So thanks for being chill. The 40 of you that see this video, since I'm sure I fucked up the algorithm by not posting, but thanks anyway, and I will see you guys in the next video.